Hey guys, welcome back. So today we'll be doing a podcast on mental health, and we have today with us a very special person, which is Associate Professor Anasuya Jegathevi Jegathesan. God, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, that is. It is. It's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since the announcement video came out. I think it came out like on the 6th. Yeah, it came out on the Time to Talk Day, which is a day that's being observed in the UK and the US. And I actually stumbled upon this day online because I thought, it would be a great time to talk about mental health, and it's been something that I wanted to speak on for the past 2 months already. So it's a great opportunity, and plus Dr.A has already agreed, and so we thought, let's do it.
Okay.
All right. Yep. A little bit about Dr.A before we go into the podcast, because we have to. It's Dr.A, right? Yeah. Let me just start with the bio really quick. So, Associate Professor Dr. Anasuya Jegathevi Jegathesan is a counselor, educator, and a licensed counselor in Malaysia, a certified reality therapist and certified thanatologist. She has conducted workshops on grief, insight-based therapy, and reality therapy in Malaysia, Australia, and the United States. She has produced her own therapy tool to facilitate multicultural therapy. Is that AJJ?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. She's a volunteer counselling supervisor and numerous NGOs, including PT Foundation and YWCA. She completed her doctorate in counselling from the University of South Australia.
Enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to go backwards.
Okay. Okay, this is really important. She logged over 100 volunteer counselor hours on site during the MH370 crisis.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Alright, I think we'll stop it there.
Yes, thanks.
It's trust me guys, it's really long.
Some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
You get the gist of it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Alright. Anyway, let's go straight into this. Yeah, I think let's just start off with the note that 2020 has started off with a very weird way, in a very weird way, basically. So, how do I say this? Forest fires in Australia, flash floods in Indonesia, and the coronavirus from Wuhan. It's pretty much a really weird way to start 2020. What are your thoughts on like the whole situation right now?
So floods, fires, can't do anything about it. It happens. Coronavirus. Which part of it is actually becoming the human factor? It's not, it's not that people are getting sick. The virus can be controlled. People are getting cured by it. The death rates for other viruses are higher than coronavirus. What is becoming an issue with coronavirus is not that it's a sickness or the spread of the sickness. It's a sickness of a mind. It's how people have used the virus to make it a racial issue.
Yes, the discrimination.
And discrimination, prejudice, all of that have gone up to ridiculous levels. So, when H1N1 came out in America, nobody said, let's ban Americans, let's, quarantine all the Americans, they're going to spread H1N1 when they leave America. But the reaction for this, because it's, from China, it's totally different.
Right.
And, people are being sent to Christmas Island, people are being segregated, everything is closed down, people are scared, children are dying. Mentally disabled child died because they quarantined their parents and nobody was looking after, and the person died of starvation. I mean, seriously, do we lose being human when you have a sickness? I mean, things can be maintained without panic level. We have come to a situation where medical science can quite reasonably fast start responding to the needs, and medicines are coming out. People are being cured.
Right.
So yet the panic is ridiculous.
Miss, why do you think that there's this kind of panic going on?
Well, not to be brutally honest, skin color, one of them.
Skin color.
Yeah.
Right, discrimination.
I mean, like I said, when America has influenza, 20,000, 30,000 people die of influenza in America.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see H1N1 when it came out? It was from America. Did we see similar kinds of hue and cry?
At this time at age, why are we still seeing these kind of racial issues?
Because the technology has changed. Human brains have not. A bit slower. The upgrade system for the human brains is a little bit slower. Human heart, even slower. This is a heart issue.
Yeah.
And when people are afraid, they overreact. And then when people are fanning the fear, of course then it's worse. And come on, how the ways and means that media and internet have fanned the fear of the coronavirus is, I mean, to a certain extent, it's just inhumane. And come on lah, we should be doing better, but of course, you know what they say about should, right? Should means they're not. So yeah, you're not.
How about any ways to overcome it?
Overcome it in a global sense is how we reach out globally and the global agenda. As long as politicians run the agenda, the argument is always going to be, and to a certain extent, America and China are not in a physical war, but they are in an economic war.
Yeah.
And that has actually fueled the hatred. It's fueled the drama and the verbiage used to describe the virus and the peoples and the situations in both the countries. So it's not a simple situation, but on your own self, take precautions. Do what you need to do. But don't become less than human.
Right.
In your treatment of other humans.
I think this works for not only people of higher status and stature, and it's for everyone to imbibe. It's a value that everyone should imbibe. And I just wanted to ask you, what can you say to all the people that's already being fearful about this, and considering even if they stay in places that are far away from the source?
Why are you afraid? What exactly are you afraid of? What is the source of contamination? If people are not sick, they're not sick. I mean, seriously, if you're afraid, look at the statistics in Malaysia for Chinese New Year accidents and for accidents over the last few weeks. And tell me which one kills more people. Alright? So if you want to be afraid, why don't you be more afraid of cars?
Right.
You're more likely to die of a car crash in Malaysia. Okay?
Alright.
And if you do get sick, go get treatment. Okay, go get treatment. Try to avoid overcrowded places. Fair enough. Try to avoid it in general. If you're scared, take reasonable precautions. Wear the mask. Wash your hands. Okay, wash your hands. Using the antibacterial is not enough. It's a virus.
Right.
It's not a bacteria. Antibacterial soap does not kill it. Soap and water washes it off.
So put it under your nails.
Carry hand sanitizer with you always.
Oh yeah.
Hand sanitizers don't work. Hand sanitizer.
Okay, don't do that.
The mass panic that's been going on is everywhere you go. There is no hand sanitizers or everything is sold out.
Hand sanitizers do what? They kill bacteria. It's like marketing does it. The hand sanitizer marketing are the most brilliant in the world. Because honestly, antibacterial products kill a virus? I mean, you all learned this in school, right?
Oh, right.
So you are taking an antibacterial hand sanitizer, you're rubbing it on your hand.
Yeah.
It kills the bacteria on your hand, maybe. Any virus on your hand stays on your hand.
Okay.
And you just rubbed it around. Okay?
So guys,
wash. Soap, water, wash. Normal soap, normal water, don't have to be antibacterial. Take the normal bar of soap and wash it. That is actually good enough.
Cheap and good.
Yes,
Remember.
don't do what I just did. Don't touch your face so much if you're scared.
alright.
Did you not realize that antibacterial cannot kill a virus?
We did. We just.
You should tell Singapore that.
Yeah. Alright.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything because Singaporeans might be seeing. I just went to Singapore. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, you just came back.
I just came back. Not this week. Last week I went to Singapore.
Last week.
And, it was the first time I was looking at the airport in the immigration area, and I realized that there were more immigration officers than there were travelers, and I was like, wow, in Changi Airport. That's amazing.
Did you go to Jewel though?
What?
The waterfall.
No, I didn't. We went for my nephew's swim competition. So
Changi Airport
yeah.
is so
Airport
Changi.
He won, so yes. Yeah. Humble boast, my nephew.
Right. So yeah, what a way to start on.
Alright.
Anyway, y'all jumped in, so I answered.
Yeah, no, we really needed to know about this. Anyway, yeah, you reminded me about something earlier on. You said that this whole social behavioral lab is pretty new.
Yeah.
And there are a few advances that that the whole team has added to it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to talk about it?
Oh well, there's not added to it. We've recently built. We have what we have
right.
now in Taylor's is a social behavioral lab. So we have this side is the the side where the researchers just do their own work, but the lab side is on the other side where we've got 13 cameras in the room. It is high definition cameras. to pick up facial movement, facial recognition, and then we have the software, which is AI based, to do emotions on it. Of course, it has to be trained, and we're going to be training the software and that's where Taylor students and all come in, because they'll be involved in quite interesting projects using pretty high tech stuff, looking at emotional recognition, emotional facial, how does that play out, social behaviors, people's behavior, movements, how interaction works with each other. So the softwares are pretty darn cool.
Actually, I'm curious about this. I don't know whether I can ask, but
Go ahead.
how much do you think Taylor's spend on
I cannot answer that question on the grounds that I may not have a job later if I answer that question.
I was just curious.
No, that's no. They paid a fair penny, but we've been working very closely with the people who provided the software and the people who built the software, which is a group called Glook, and they're based in Malaysia, and they are really good, and they've been very cooperative and forward thinking with us to build the software. It's proprietary software by them, and they actually have got they do the similar kind of work, but more in like security settings originally. So now they're moving up into higher end AIs and all that. That's where we come in. So it's in a way it's a partnership where we're trying to work well with them.
Right.
So they did give us a fair price. It was not cheap, I can say that much.
I bet.
It's gonna be worth it though.
It's definitely going to be worth it. I mean, you have to move forward. You cannot do research just based on pen and paper alone all the time.
Yeah,
That's the other
true.
ways of doing it. Yeah.
Right, so guys, join Taylor's
Yeah.
Taylor Psychology. Let's do it. I'll see you guys next time. Yeah. All right, so we're going into the main topic of the day, which is mental health, right? I want to know what's your opinion on a preserved and healthy mental health.
Sorry?
A healthier mental health in comparison to people who are undergoing depression and anxiety.
No, it's okay. If you look at the DSM-5 and you look at any of the definitions of mental health all over the world, the DSM-5 is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual.
Yep.
There is no definition of what is normal in mental health. So when you say, what is a better mental health? My first question to you is, better for whom? For some people, a better mental health means, I sit at home, I'm comfortable with my family, I don't like to go out so much, I'm just, I do stuff, I'm functional, I go to work, I come back, and I really don't want to go out. And I'm not depressed, I'm just not the kind of person who needs to go out so much.
Socialize too much.
Yeah. In fact, I find it more stressful to socialize. Somebody else is like, no, we need to go out, we need to do things, I need a big group of people around me. Yep, that's also fine. But who's to say which one is normal? Both are normal. So when you say what is a normal mental health, the question is, are you functioning or not functioning? That is the question.
Right.
If you are functioning, then you are at a normal mental health. Say somebody has recently passed on in your family. Recently somebody has passed away, and you are sitting at home and you're experiencing grief. You're upset and you're crying, and it's been like 2 months, and you still miss the person and you're still crying.
Right.
Is that normal? Yeah, it's normal. But it's normal for that person under the circumstances. But you move in for 3, 4, 6 months, and you're not functioning. You're so grief struck that at that point in time you can't work. You stop being able. You're not productive at work. You don't feel productive with your family. You feel that your capacity is being reduced. That is when you go, okay, I'm stressed out, I need some support. I'm undergoing something for too long, I need some support. It's for individuals to make that decision of what is normal for them. When other people have to step in, usually the behavior of abnormality has gone to an extreme. Interventions with friends and all that is usually extreme. But also we got friends who are busybodies sometimes. But that's life, huh?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean people are sick. Just because somebody thinks they are doesn't mean they are.
True. I was just about to ask you, what is that level, when you're going through something and you feel like, okay, this is the point where I actually need professional help? And
it changes for different people.
Right.
Some people, funnily enough, will go through the worst that they experience without asking for mental health, and then as they start getting better, then they go for mental health. Because while they're climbing that stage of stress, they are so stressed that they don't have time to think of going to a counselor or to a clinical psychologist or something, because they're so stressed. And it's just one more thing I have to do now, and I really can't do it. So, but once they hit that peak, and then suddenly they're a little bit, it goes down a little bit, then they're like, oh, now I've got time to get some help quickly. Then they come for help. Other people, as soon as they start going, they are more aware. They are more aware of their of themselves. They're more aware of their needs. If you're more aware of your needs, as you feel that stress building, then you go. I have when you go for, say, couples counselling, one of the saddest things in Malaysia I've seen, I mean, I've been doing this for many years in Malaysia, is that a lot of couples come when both have already given up on the marriage.
Okay.
So they've come at the point when they are both going through the motions of counselling, but internally the decision has already been made. The feeling is, I don't love this person, I don't want to be with this person anymore. That's too late. It's very hard for counsellors to intervene at that point in time, as when somebody goes, I really don't want to be here anymore. But if you come in earlier, then of course you know that shame and stigma. No, there's no shame and stigma. We can support people through it, through marriages. And we do get couples who make that decision to come in when they see the fights increasing, they see the complexities increasing, and they're like, okay, we're fighting too much, it's going too long. Before we start hating each other, let's go for therapy. And these couples get the best results. Even the earlier couples, they can be helped. Some therapists are amazing. They can help people even who've already like shut down, but they can slowly bring them up again. But it takes much longer, much more complex.
I feel like that includes you. That includes you, like one of the therapists.
Well, couples is not my mainstay. I work with young people, people going through grief and loss, adolescent issues. Those are my more main areas. I still do couples, but there are people who are out there who are better than me. I'm not going to say,
Right.
Yeah.
Means would you say that like people going through the stress, like going up, it would be better for them to go before they reach the peak? Or after? Do you think after they reach the peak and then they go for the counselling, they would have more trauma in them?
Look, it's people's choice. And at the end of the day, I cannot force anybody to go for counselling.
Yeah.
And when people are really under stress, and you're inside, when you're inside and you're looking down and you're just trying to go forward, it's really hard to see that there is help. So sometimes people need it, and so yes, of course it's better to go before you hit a stress point. But let's face it, counselling is not counselling. Mental health is not something that is without stigma in Malaysia. So it's still stigmatized. So for people to go and reach for help, sometimes they need to feel, they need to feel a little like, I got some space to go for help. Of course, this is better. Then maybe you don't have to peak. Maybe you don't have to hit that level of, oh my God, my life is terrible. Maybe it can be better than. And the problem is when you hit that peak, at that point, sometimes you'll be forced to go for counselling, because the people around you at that point in time would have been affected by your behavior. So another way of when you need mental health is your behavior now is not affecting your efficiency, it's affecting the efficiency of the people around you.
Right.
And that's when you kind of are encouraged by family, friends, lecturers, university people to go for counselling.
Yeah.
And let's try not to avoid that point. That point is the embarrassing one.
Yeah.
I think that also correlates with the that saying that goes, before you go for a treatment, or if you want to visit the doctor, the first step to understand that you're sick is basically to accept that you're sick, right? You were speaking about your clients, the people that you see, youngsters, adolescents, and some of the couples, right?
I agree with lost people.
So
all ages.
Is it cool if we know more about your clients,
like what?
Like your client experiences before this, like your worst client experience that you've had so far?
No, it's not cool. It's called confidentiality.
Right. We tried. Trust me.
There are certain cases which I do talk about because I have permission to talk about those cases.
All right.
From the clients involved.
From those cases, then.
Okay. This for everything from abuse, like one of the, and this was a very old case, and it's one of the sad cases where the person was cutting, and the person is cutting but they're not suicidal. And a lot of people nowadays think that if I cut, I'm suicidal. No. Cutting is unfortunately, it's one of those cases where you are using negative coping behaviors, but you're trying to cope.
Right.
So you're trying to cope with pain. And so this was a pretty bad story because the mother was actually physically abusive, horribly physically abusive and mentally abusive, initially even breaking bones when he was a child. And the father was emotionally unavailable. Would pay for everything without blinking, but would not say more than, what are your results? Are your results what I expected? Okay, good or bad? And then he'd walk away. Literally like that. And then the physical abuse stopped when the arm got broken and the child had been taken to hospital. The boy had been taken to hospital. And while in hospital, then the father told the mother, if you're going to embarrass me again, it's not going to happen. I'm going to, this cannot happen. You're embarrassing me. So that at that point, physical abuse stopped. Like that level of physical abuse. And it just went into verbal and this abuse. And
that's like really brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
That's insane.
And the person now is like adult overseas.
Right.
Doing quite well.
That's
and
good.
Basically what happened was he did not intend to, and he had a group of friends, which was the saving factor. He had a group of friends that were very close. And they were supposed to go out one day. And they had come to pick him up. And they went to his house and they didn't answer. They called the maid. The maid was there. The maid said he's bathing. He's been bathing for the last 1 hour. And they were like, what? So one of the boys went in to find him, see what's going on. They broke down the door and he was collapsed in the bathroom. And unconscious, all blood everywhere.
Wow.
He had cut so many times. He never intended to kill himself because he was going out with them. And he was happy to go out with them. But he had cut so many times that it stopped healing. So he bled out.
Right.
And he didn't want to bleed out. You could see he was trying to stop it, like he was putting stuff and all that, trying to stop it. But it wouldn't heal. It wouldn't stop bleeding because he had cut it so many times. It actually hurt the veins. So then he got help, and their families. So then they got help. Their families came and took him and kind of adopted him, although he had parents who were basically almost happy that he was being looked after by somebody else. They did pay, and that's how he came for counseling.
When you take on these kind of clients, do you also bring in their parents?
In this case, not in your life. The parent, actually, I did ask the father to come because the mother at that point she had a no contact. She had a no contact. The other parents had asked for no contact as one of the conditions for taking the boy.
Right.
Because she was that abusive. She couldn't stop her mouth. And so when I invited the father to come, he just said, how much? Literally, he said how much, and I basically charged him, but he never turned up.
Wow.
He never turned up.
Okay.
But the whole group of friends came, and the other parent who became the adopted parents came. So then we had the session, but they come with the boy's permission. So I'm using the word boy, but his age is not like 8. It's a bit older. Quite a bit older.
So quite a while ago.
Yeah, it's quite now he's in his 20s. I'm not going to say it because then it says my age. So it's 20 something. Okay, let's just call it 20 something, right? I just realized it'll tell you how old I am.
I'm trying to calculate it.
I know, I don't want to say it. So it was some time ago. It was one of my earlier cases. And it was quite it's a bit traumatic, but what happened was that the friends group became brothers and sisters. So the ones that he got adopted into became his brothers, and they supported and basically got him out. It was the funniest case. That was like, I almost considered the dad a psychopath to an extent. Just that he didn't kill people. He just had no feelings. He was so willing to pay, but he was just not willing to engage. As long as the son was moving, talking, and studying, that's all he cared about. Even when he's living with somebody else, he paid for everything. He just refused to engage. Once a year, he expects you to visit during like his birthday and another function. Other than that, nothing.
Why do you think parents can be like this?
I don't think it's parents. I think it's this crackpot. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't call the father a crackpot, but no other word comes to mind. No, sometimes...
Yeah, it's okay. It's just coming on my channel.
Sometimes they had issues, and I think in this case, both parents had mental health issues. I do think that he may have been something like a sociopath or a psychopath on that. Sociopath probably more than psychopath. And the mother, I just think, was one bitter, I can't use the word, but yeah. It's an insult. I know, I love dogs, so it's an insult to dogs, but yeah. Okay, I'm going to say the mother was an insult to dogs. Because dogs don't do that to
One
their
nice
pups.
way of putting it.
For the boy, even though he went through all this trauma, he came to you. He got better, right? Did he get better?
Yeah, he got a lot better. He got a lot better. He's doing quite well. He's overseas. At one point, he was sort of becoming like his dad. He was unable to emote. He was like the pain. So in therapy session, the first few sessions with him, he's telling me the story and he's telling me like a robot, and I'm the one who wants to cry, and he's got no emotion. He's just telling me the whole story. Like it's like he's telling me horrors, and I'm like, I want to cry, and he's so blank. So I didn't know what to do. So finally, I actually called the friends in.
Right.
So when the friends came in, the friends started crying. So when the friends started crying, then he started crying because the friends started blaming themselves. Because the friends said, like, how can we not know you were going through stuff like this? And it was our fault because you're a friend. We didn't know until we actually found you. We had no idea you were cutting that badly or doing stuff like that. So they had a breakdown. So when they break down, it created a chain reaction, and he also started. And then that's when the emotion part came in. So then we had quite a long process of supporting him.
Even though he's better, right? Do you think someone can really actually be healed from this kind of wound?
They have to choose. It was not easy. They have to support, and they have to choose to be healed, because it's very easy to get into the habit of cutting. I feel like cutting, so I want to cut.
It's like an addiction, right?
Yes, it's an addiction.
I did read that when people cut, your brain automatically releases what?
A hormone.
Neurotransmitter that
makes you feel better.
Inhibits the pain.
Yes.
So it makes you feel good.
Yes. So that's one of the things. Another one is control. His was slightly different. His reason for cutting, and the reason why he cut in the bathroom was he wanted to see the blood. He wanted to see the blood go down the drain, and in his thoughts is, it's from my parents. My parents are so dirty. My mother calls me all these names, so I must be like what my mom says, because my mom's supposed to love me and she doesn't. So I must be wrong. So when my blood goes down the drain and it's washed away, I'm washing away all my bad blood. So then I'm clean enough to go out with my friends.
Form of release for him.
Yeah, and this is why the words parents use to the kids is so important, because kids take it on.
Yeah,
and
true.
He was totally innocent in this, and the way he described himself was really bad. So I mean, that's one of the cases I can talk about. I have his permission from long ago till now to talk about him.
I also, that's a very depressing one.
Yeah, there you go. My cases are.
Yeah.
You asked.
I'm sad I did. But no, I want.
On the happy note, he is fine now. He is absolutely okay.
Which is why I'm smiling right now.
Yeah, he does talks. He's got girlfriends. He's dating people. He's girlfriends.
Dude, this guy has more game than me.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's pretty cool. But I want to know more about also, have you ever had a very hostile client?
Yeah.
In what sense?
I've had clients who kick chairs.
Ooh.
I had clients who I warned other people to please when you all go home, I'm going to refer you on to the hospital. I cannot see you. This is not a counseling session. This is a psychiatric case. Can you please take him to a psychiatrist, because I think the possibility of violence is very high. And they didn't believe me, and later on they were in the police station.
But you've not been harmed though, right?
No, I've not been harmed. I'm not that.
It's in your cause.
As soon as I noticed that they are, I feel that there's a potential for them to get aggressive.
Right.
Then you try to take steps to back away, give them space.
What are the signs that you see?
That one is a bit more complicated because if I start doing that, because it's a little bit of
experience. Maybe?
Yeah, if I'm going to go down that line, we'll never go to any other place.
It's like you have to analyze every one of them.
You do have to analyze, and facial expressions, eyes. Where are the eyes looking? How are they on substances? Are they actually processing? Do they keep obsessively looking at things or doing things? The body language. Body language was the biggest giveaway. His body language, even when he was joking or relaxing or saying, "Oh, that was just a joke," his body language did not say it was a joke. His body language was still very aggressive.
Right.
But nobody seemed to notice, and I was like, okay.
Miss Anasu.
Let's just talk about the events that has happened before here. It's about a few suicide events regarding a few people who are stressed and.
No, you don't know what created the suicide.
Right.
Look, one of the sad things about suicide is that people make assumptions of the why. why people committed suicide.
Uh-huh.
And usually our assumptions are wrong. A lot of research is done on ideation of suicide rather than the action of suicide. And when you say stress, some people would, no matter how stressed they are, the thought of suicide will not cross their mind. For others, thought of suicide is rare, but under certain circumstances, when they feel forced into it, or they are told by people who are supposed to love them, you're better off dead, you should kill yourself, then it actually triggers it, because they feel that they're not supported, or they're being attacked by people who are supposed to love them. Or there are other groups of people who feel suicidal for various reasons.
Yeah.
Okay? But stress alone is not something which triggers suicide, to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's connections with people, it's feelings of hopelessness and helplessness, and a few other factors that I think we're not even aware of right now. It hasn't been written about yet. It has to be researched.
Right.
Anything that you can say is not been researched yet, but anything...
We are researching it at the moment. We're trying to research, but it's quite difficult to find participants, because I'm specifically looking for participants who have attempted suicide, like more than 3 months from the time of the interview, who attempted suicide and lived. So this is a small one. If this is depending on when this comes out, if this takes another 3 months to come out, then never mind. But if it's coming out quite fast, from this date, I'm actually doing an active research on identifying individuals, on interviews with individuals who have attempted suicide, like seriously attempted suicide, with the intention of killing themselves and using the items to kill themselves, not ideation, have survived the attempt, and the last attempt has to be more than 3 months ago. Then we can, and if you all are like that, please feel free to contact me, and you're willing to be interviewed, and you self-declare that you're okay.
Yeah.
Everybody, contact Miss
Anasu. It's crazy though. Have you heard of that one girl who actually committed suicide based on an Instagram post?
Yeah.
Why? I'm just thinking. I'm just trying to fathom that. Why? Why would you do something like that?
Because she was reaching out for help. And when you're reaching out for help, and instead of help, you get scorned, you get attacked, you get people laughing at you and people not believing you, then you say everybody, you're out to get attention seeking. And if that really was not the case, then they're driven. Then okay, if y'all really want me to do that, then I've got no point of living. So the feeling of it's hopeless. There's no reason. Nobody wants me around. So why? So okay.
But the repercussions of that whole thing, it can just affect your family and your friends.
Of course it does. But at that point in time, they are thinking that they're helping their family and friends. They're not. The sum total of suicide. No, it's. I've had family members who suicided, and I can tell you that the sum total of suicide is an increased pain in the world. So if you're thinking you're going to commit suicide to help people decrease the pain, you're wrong.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking though.
No, they're absolutely wrong.
I shouldn't be around because I'm better off not there. And that's what they're thinking at the moment.
Yeah, they are thinking that. Unfortunately, they're wrong. No matter who you are, no matter you may think that no, you're just wrong. I know that the sum total of your suicide act, if you think you're helping people, no, you're not. You're going to increase the amount of pain in the world. So please get help. If you feel that you are, you're being pushed, reach out. And here's the thing about counseling and therapy. Not all therapists are alike. Same like shopping. When you go to buy a pair of pants, sometimes the pants doesn't suit you very well. You'll find therapists who don't suit you very well either. Make that decision. If you don't like the therapist, find a different therapist. If you don't jive with the therapist, find somebody who can really support you. And you feel supported when you see them. Don't think that, I've gone for one therapist, the person is the person is not nice, that didn't make me feel comfortable, so that means there's no hope. No, it just means you went for a therapist that didn't suit you.
Yeah.
Okay, so and there are therapists like that.
It's like a trial and error.
Yeah. Sometimes it is. If there's no click, there's a we are still human. Therapists are still human, and sometimes there's just no click. And I've had that as well.
Yeah.
I've had clients where I'm like, I can't take this client. I can't help this client because it didn't click. Sometimes it's just, I don't know, there's various reasons for that.
But you do try though, right?
You do try, but then sometimes you refer.
Yeah. You're right. So I think let's go to this very, I don't know, I think this is the most relatable section of the whole podcast, and I really wanted people to send me voice notes. like we call the section TNV, which is basically text and voice notes, and we ask people we ask our friends and families and even acquaintances to come and send us voice notes regarding their own experiences, and based on the experiences, if they had any questions to ask, we thought this would be a great platform to use that for.
Okay.
And
sure.
yeah, so
go for it.
Hey guys, sorry, we're actually taking a short break, and after this we'll be having the questions, as I've mentioned before. And to be honest, I just have a message that I want to share with you guys, and it's basically me owing you guys an apology if we have hurt anyone's sentiment so far, and we're just trying to keep this on surface level, so we don't want to go in too deep, and we just hope that this whole section of this podcast, or pretty much the whole podcast itself, is relatable, and we hope you guys can learn something from it as well.
Yeah, it's to like help us and you guys understand where some people are coming from, or understand your own situations.
Right. So yeah, that'll be about it, man. Thank you for just joining in. And so okay guys, the first question. Okay, so this is from a friend. Hi, I'm curious to know how to choose the right people to share my problems with. How to differentiate between being fearful and having anxiety.
Being fearful and having anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay. Fear is I'm scared of something. Anxious is I'm just feeling uncomfortable. I'm feeling like something is, not right, but I'm not afraid. Afraid is I want to run away. And of course when you go into higher levels of anxiety, it becomes conflated.
Right.
Fear and anxiety kind of come together because you're so uncomfortable, you start feeling afraid. But the initial anxiety, there's no fear attached to it. I'm anxious about an interview. I'm anxious about this. I only start feeling fear for the interview if I really think I'm going to lose. I'm not going to get the job. That's when the fear sets in. So that is fear and anxiety. Now, how do you know? How do you get help? It's very easy. Are you comfortable with the therapist or not?
Wait, sorry. I don't know. It's like how to choose the right people to share my problems with. Like more towards friends.
Oh, how to choose?
Yeah.
Very simple. Choose the friends who don't tell you stories about other friends. Choose friends
What a paradox.
who don't tell you stories about other friends. Because if they tell you stories about other friends, that means they gossip.
Tell other friends stories about you.
Yes. So especially if they are telling stories about, he told me this, he told me this. That person is just broke confidentiality. Their friend has told him a story. So in order to be cool, they are sharing the story.
Right.
So if somebody is willing to share other people's stories with you because you're a good friend, keep in mind they will probably do it to other people. So choose friends who don't really tell you other people's stories.
Right.
Or they tell you stories without giving background information. They don't tell who's the person. They talk in very general terms, like how I did just now.
Okay.
You can't identify. There's no way for you to identify the people involved.
To be a better friend, don't talk about your other friends.
Don't talk about your friends lah. No problem. And when somebody says it's a secret, it means it's a secret.
Yeah. What stays? It just stays there.
Yeah.
Right. So the next question is basically, I think this meant So her question is basically, I have friends who give me happiness and anxiety.
Okay.
How do I handle this? Because it's the same person who's she's
what
going
kind
to.
of relationship is this? Is it going to be boyfriend, girlfriend?
No, it's just friends.
It's just friends and they give you happiness and anxiety?
Like the people that they just resort to.
Saying that you have a friend that gives you both happiness and anxiety, you gotta find a balance. If they're giving you anxiety, it basically means they're asking you for help or they're coming to you as a therapist. If their levels of anxiety are affecting you, then you need to advise them to get proper help. If you find that you're on a loop with them, like they're my friends, they're coming to me for advice, but every time it's the same conversation and they don't change, then at a certain point as a friend, you have a right to say, look, I've heard this story 5 times. I'm going to record you and I'm going to play it back every time you open your mouth because, as a friend, I'm done listening to this story. Either you make changes or,
we're just done.
Or just stop. I can't do this. I'm not your therapist.
Yeah.
I can't keep, and that's actually more helpful than you keep listening to their replay story all the time. So, if it comes to push comes to shove for your friends, you must tell them that it's not helping.
Is that a nice way of saying it?
Yeah, you're not helping. You're not helping yourself. Please get help.
It's just being blunt.
I really cannot listen anymore. Your mental health, your mental illness now is being transferred to me. And if you are my friend, you must understand that I also cannot take it so much. I really want to help you. I love you a lot, but I also have my limits. I'm also human. So can we please get help for you?
Right.
You know, and if somebody goes and says, "Oh no, you're not my friend. You're not supporting me," at that point in time, they are not being a good friend to you as well. So then you know that this person is using you. So if you tell somebody, "Look, I've listened to you on this topic already. I spent hours with you on it. I cannot handle it already. I have my own life, my own issues. Please get help for my sake, if nobody else. I need you to move forward." And if the person still doesn't do it, then maybe they don't value your friendship as much as you think.
You should consider breaking.
You should consider maybe taking a step back. Maybe
Right.
not breaking the friendship, but not being so available for negativity.
Right.
Especially if it's repeat negativity over and over and over again.
Okay. Cool. You want to ask the next one?
Okay.
Number 3.
Number 4. So, I have a friend who deals with anxiety attacks. Her attacks include symptoms of difficulty breathing. What should I do when she calls me for help? Please advise me on this.
If somebody is calling me for help, I'm having difficulty breathing, breathe with them. Breathe in, tell them breathe in, hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, breathe out. Breathe in, hold your breath, breathe out. The trick is in holding the breath. Just for a few seconds, hold the breath. Don't go deep breathing, because then it can go. It can actually go. So it's like hold and then breathe out slowly.
Instant asthma.
Yeah, instant asthma. Correct.
Right.
So what you do is you just try to help them with their breathing and try to focus. And then also check why are they calling you if you're a teenager or a young person. Because shouldn't this be a doctor?
Right.
Shouldn't you be calling a doctor? Is there something else going on? Is there like really they are all alone? Is it more about loneliness than anything else? Maybe nowadays young people like to live by themselves and stay by themselves, but sometimes it doesn't suit them, suit their personality. So maybe staying by themselves is not the best thing for them. You know, and either they need to get housemates, roommates, or go back home.
But what actually happens during a panic attack? What's going on in the person?
Brain.
Oh, sorry, the brain.
Short circuit a bit.
Short circuit because of like maybe a stressful event.
It's like it gets overwhelmed. So the thoughts have gone. So a way to stop anxiety or panic attacks is to actually notice your behavior. Panic attacks don't come from nowhere. It actually slowly builds. So you watch your behavior and you see at what point your emotion starts going higher and spiking until finally it tips over into a panic attack. So it always feels like I've suddenly got a panic attack because that's a tip over point. But you're ignoring the anxiety building. You know, so from anxiety into panic attack, it's like anxiety, panic. So you must take notice of that anxiety building, and if you can take notice of the anxiety building and then change the behavior, change what you're doing, manage that anxiety, you won't go into panic attack.
How do they manage it though? How do they actually change that behavior?
Behavioral modification, behavioral management, that can be done. It depends on people.
Just doing something else maybe, or
You have to sometimes, like if it's in the room and you're stuck and say, okay, when do people have panic attacks? During functions in public with a lot of people around. So you're going for a function and suddenly you start feeling anxiety. It's building. Oh, I'm stuck here. Oh my God, too many people. Go out of the room. Go to the toilets. Lock yourself in the toilet for a while. Sit down there. Breathe it out. Don't feel awkward about doing it. Do it before it becomes I have to go to the toilet. Do it when oh God, I need to control. No, you don't need to control. Just take a break. That's why although don't smoke, but still, when people do the cigarette thing and then they go out and they relax, that's what part of it is. It's actually not even the smoking, it's the actual removing yourself physically from a stress area for a few minutes and then coming back. So then it helps you manage the panic. So the idea is to manage the panic.
Alright.
Okay?
Alright, so
Alright, cool.
And the next question. So this person says, I bottle my feelings up because I feel that my problems are small and insignificant as compared to what other people go through. What should I do? How do I express myself in a healthy way? How do I not resort to anger when my feelings get hurt? A lot of questions.
Okay, the first one is...
So, the first one is that he feels that what he goes through is insignificant. What should he do?
So question. is what you feel insignificant, or do you feel insignificant? If you feel insignificant, then of course, you consider your emotions insignificant. If you believe you're significant, then your emotions are significant. Doesn't matter whether, like somebody else, what happened in their family, so someone's family member passes away. In your case, your dog passed away. Do you know that the death of a dog can be more damaging than loss of family members sometimes?
Yeah.
Because it's about that person. For some people, you fail an exam, it feels like the end of the world. And in some cases in Japan and Korea and Hong Kong, it happens to be the end of the world. Malaysia pun ada. Okay, and for other people, it's like, no lah, I feel also nothing.
We see that kind of people too.
And so, how do you measure emotions? Look, the amount of significance you give your emotions is, if you can manage it, don't make it insignificant. It's significant that you're managing. It's significant that you look at your emotions and you feel like, what? I can manage my problems, and I will recognize that I am managing my problems and I'm managing them well. Don't go and beat yourself up for managing your problems. Just because you're not the kind of person who cries in front of other people or goes and tells people your problems. You are managing your problems in a different way. So manage. Okay, that was there's so many lessons there.
Going to that, he also asked that how does he or she express themselves in a healthy way?
Start dancing, play games, do different things,
Sports.
in art, sports.
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, one of the ways I express myself is computer games, believe it or not. You get angry, go and kill stuff in games. In some games, there was one that this one I can share. When I first started lecturing, there was this one student this was years ago also lah. There's one student that really got my goat, and it was because my first year lecturing, so you're very anxious, like, so lecturer, I want to try to be good, and this one student was like, I couldn't take it. So I was playing this game, and it was an RPG. So I made the character model look like a student.
You made him look like a student.
Interesting ways of, shall we say, my character did very interesting things that day, lah.
Murdering
going and attacking a dragon that they couldn't kill, and then the dragon kind of eats them up, jumping off a cliff.
So satisfying.
And then like this, all kinds of things. So it was quite fun. Yes. So then after that, I was fine. But you said that was one. I wouldn't recommend that. But why
Find
not?
an outlet, in other words.
Some people like painting. Some people like doing things. Some people like karate, fighting, martial arts, meditation. If you really want to go into the managing my emotions on a more higher level, all those things help.
Zen mode.
This person says that how do they not resort in anger when their feelings are hurt?
Yeah.
Like,
If your feelings are hurt, what's the point in resorting in anger? You're in pain. Why not just tell the person, you're hurting my feelings?
Maybe sometimes they're a little bit more satisfied to like.
No, because you see, anger is a masking emotion.
Right.
We get angry to mask what we are really feeling. So you are feeling pain. So instead of sharing and trying to move forward with that relationship, you attack back. So you create more pain. So you go on the defensive. So my question is, if the person hurt you, was it done intentionally? Was it done unintentionally? It's just that person's style because they don't realize they're hurting you? So when you react in anger, they feel you hurt them, so you both hurt each other, and you're both hiding the fact that you are in pain. And if this is a couple relationship or this is a deeper relationship, the question would be, can you then sit down and talk, instead of answering with anger, answer about the actual emotion, which is, look, I'm sorry, but this is, what you did, it hurt my feelings. And can we discuss this, and can we not do this anymore? So it's about maturing how we respond.
Yes, next question.
Continue.
Longest.
Alright, so this is number 6. How do you manage a toxic person if the person is one of your family members? How do you
If I could give you a very simple 5-minute answer, I would be a bloody millionaire by now. Okay? I'm sorry. Very carefully. with a lot of antitoxin to
all the
find.
hand sanitizer.
Then, now this is where I use hand sanitizer.
Just keep touching.
Go and bathe in it.
Maybe your mother in it.
Brush your teeth before you talk, that kind of thing.
Sometimes, especially certain family members, you just have to wait it out. When people tend to get older, somehow or another relationships change or mature a little bit. And if it is with people you love them, but good God, then just predict behaviors, and so when they behave like that, you go, see, I was right. So at least you're right. You still have to manage it, but at least it's a small self-satisfaction of feeling that you're right, that you knew they were going to do that.
Do you be avoiding then?
Sometimes you can't.
Right.
I mean, I know in Western societies, just avoid. Like Asian societies, can you really avoid certain family members?
Yeah, our culture is quite different.
Some random auntie will call you.
The random auntie we can ignore, but the problem is when the whole jingbang of them come together, and those randos and the toxic people are mixed in
together,
and they're kind of critical for certain events, and you're like, okay, breathe. Okay, then it's about sometimes not mentally being there. Like they're going to be like that, so don't mentally be there. Like one of the sad cases in Malaysia was that case where the neighbor kept asking, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? And then actually retaliated. So that lady, of course, was a toxic person to him.
Yeah.
But his reaction was definitely overboard.
What did he do?
He killed her.
Oh.
He killed her. Yeah, definitely overboard. You didn't hear the case.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's in mind. But he actually killed her for asking the question so many times. He attacked her, and then I can't remember the whole story, but I think she did kill her. Kill her or hurt her? Let's go with that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: before it becomes a situation where you have to destroy your life or your relationships with people that matter to manage this person that does not matter, because if somebody is that toxic, why do they matter so much?
No, okay.
Okay, so in your brain, stop making them matter. I'm going for a family occasion. There are 20 people there that I love. There's this one person I can't stand. Why should this one person destroy my relationship with 20 people?
Yeah, true.
So you gotta start playing smart. It is a game of when do I take my brain away from you? I can physically smile at you and go, I am smiling at a piece of toot, and and then just continue on.
Right. I think I'll ask number 7, yeah. Alright, so how do I share my depression without feeling like a burden to my friends? And how do I handle my depression without getting any medical help?
There are ways to handle depression without getting mental health. It's behavioral modification. Like you focus on your behavior and what you need to do. How do you handle your friends? It depends on your group of friends. My suggestion is don't use one group of friends alone. Spread it out. So different people, so people don't feel burdened.
Right.
So like have and most people, and also do things for your friends. Make sure you try to balance off the relationship by, even though you are depressed and even I'm feeling very depressed, help other people. One of the best ways you can overcome depression is to actually let yourself help other people as well, and not just be on the receiving end, because then we feel that I'm always asking, I'm always the one being helped.
Like a victim.
Yes. So try to that feeling can also be managed, can also be channeled to a better way. And so one of the better ways is help other people. Look for if you have opportunities, your friends asking and you are feeling bad, I don't feel like helping them, I'm feeling so depressed. Doesn't matter. My brain must say, and my body must say, I also want to help. So then get up. It's painful, it's hard, it's more hard than for other people, but at that point it is critical you get up and do it. And that sort of helps you manage the situation. Okay?
And diffusing the burden into a lot of people. So
that's another one. And go and get a counselor lah. Okay, if you're in university, for God's sake, it's free counseling. Just go and talk. Go and catch out the counselors. They're paid to listen to you. So,
Yeah, let them do their job.
Yeah, let them do their job. Okay, and just go and unburden to them, and then tell them you want humanistic counseling where they just listen. They don't have to give advice. Okay, so I don't want advice. I just want you to listen because I just need to unburden. And if the counselors know what to expect, fair enough.
Yeah, sometimes listening is good
just
enough.
Need listening. So you can actually go to a counselor and say, look, I just need humanistic right now. I don't need decisions. I just need a place to express. Can you just listen to me while I express? And most counselors will say, okay, got you.
Okay. So, okay. This should be like way on top. But how do I know if I'm going through? How do I know if I'm going through either depression or anxiety? How do I differentiate?
How do I know whether I'm going through sleepy or sleep on having a nap or I'm tired? I mean, come on. How am I supposed to answer that question? If you're talking about major depressive disorder or major anxiety, they are two different things. If you're talking about the disorders, when it comes down to the DSM-5 and the actual disorders, then they're two totally different things. But for normal people, what we tend to do is we combine the both.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling depressed, I get anxious as well. Anxious is like I'm waiting for something. That feeling of I'm waiting for something. Depressed is I cannot move. I cannot do anything. So if you imagine the combination, it's like I'm sitting down there, I cannot move, but I'm waiting for something to happen. So I'm waiting for somebody to save me, and I cannot move.
So it's possible to be both?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
That's why what we learn in psychology is quite black and white sometimes.
Called comorbidity.
Yeah.
In psychological terms, it's called comorbidity. But as soon as you go into DSM-5 and all that, when they do the testing, that's when you can be diagnosed with depression, which will have features of anxiety in it, but the diagnosis is depression. That means it's more depression than anxiety. All right? But for under like normal circumstances, when we don't really have something that needs medication. We are just lots of stuff going on. We're getting overwhelmed. We're getting depressed. Things have happened. Then you can combine them both. Think of when after people break up. Depression, anxiety, and goodness knows what else comes together. Everything under the planet. Okay?
One of the things I have always struggled with, and I feel like I still struggle with quite a bit, is overthinking about how people think about me. I've always had this problem where I worry too much about first impressions, or whether I've upset someone, or whether what I'm doing is not to someone's liking. And I just wanted to know, what are the best ways to try and overcome this, to focus on better things? Because sometimes thinking about this will literally take my focus away from everything, all the time.
So my first question is, if you are not thinking about that, what would you be thinking of? If I magically took away your worry, what would you have to actually address in your life that you're not addressing? A lot of times when we get into the habits of worrying, especially when it's a habit or something like this where, it's external factors. I'm worried about something I cannot control at all.
Right.
So obviously, you dress well, you speak well, and you're well spoken, so that's not the issue. So the issue is just worry in your head. So my question is, if I took away that thought, what are you really concerned about? Where would your brain have to go that it's trying to avoid? Sometimes worrying is it's an activity that we do to avoid actually working on the real problem. So that is one of the issues with worrying, because you're literally creating sound, so you don't hear the silence of yourself. Maybe you need to actually look at, why do I need to worry? What is it that makes me want to worry? Because it's in your brain, you can control it.
She said what made her want to worry is the impressions of people and whether she upset them.
That's the explanation. That's the excuse.
It's actually
for
a choice. Yeah, it's a choice.
It's an excuse for worrying. It's
So it's like a face.
Yeah.
Big face.
Because she knows. Because obviously she speaks well. So from how she speaks, I can. My image of her would be somebody who carries themselves well, who knows how to project themselves. So you've already done everything to project yourself and carry yourself well. So let's take an exam, something that's more common. The exam is coming up. I've already studied as much as I can for the exam. Now I'm going to go to bed at night. I want to worry. I'm going to sit down in bed and I'm thinking about the exam and I'm worrying about. You've already studied. There's nothing else you can do except sleep or get up and study some more and then probably spoil the exam. So you want to sleep lah. But no, you're worried. Why? Because actually you're just scared of the exam. You're not scared that you don't know the stuff. If I gave you a mock exam immediately, you could do it. But you're more worried about physically sitting for the exam. So the fear is not that I don't know the answers. The fear is exam itself.
Alright.
So that's one way of looking at it. That's one like specific example. So here the case could be, I carry myself well. What is your actual self-confidence?
Does that mean she has to assess herself?
Yeah, is to actually see whether the issue is my personal self-esteem. How do I see myself? Is my view of myself so poor that I project that view on other people?
So from reviewing herself and assessing all these issues, she thinks she can be able to overcome.
No, hopefully not. I mean, it all depends on people's choices and how they go forward. I mean, don't take it wrongly. I'm not saying she has a low self-esteem. I'm saying that maybe one of the things she's projecting. I don't know. So what I'm trying to say is, understand why you need that worry. Okay, and then reduce it.
Right. So, next question would be, there's another podcast. I will play. Yeah. I'm sorry, another voice note. I'll play this one. It's 6 minutes long.
No, we're going to have to finish. So can you just give me a summary of it and then play it later? We don't have to finish now.
I'll skip to the other one first, and then cool. So in June, and this is more of an experience. So she probably just wants to know your advice on this. So in June, this guy I was seeing kind of took advantage of me. I was blackout drunk, and he took all my clothes off and had sex with me. I don't know why, but it's making me feel suffocated, and I don't know how to get over it. It's actually getting worse now.
That's rape.
Okay, that was the question.
Number one,
this isn't rape, right?
No, it's rape.
It is rape. Okay.
It is 100% rape.
She didn't get any consent. I mean, the boy didn't get any.
The guy is a rapist. That he's not a friend. The person is a rapist. He's not a friend. So 100% his fault. 100% no consent given. That's 100% rape.
Right.
Please get help. Please go and see somebody, and don't allow it to victimize you. And if the person said, "No, I thought you gave," bullshit. All right, this is absolute bullshit. That is rape, and the person is a rapist. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that.
What do you think she should do? What kind of help should she get?
She should honestly get her own personal. Go for therapy.
Go for therapy. Do you think she should get help from the authorities, higher authorities? I mean, maybe it's been a while ago.
I don't know the circumstances for me to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what are her circumstances for me to say that. That might be advisable, but it's difficult to prove if it's been some time.
Yeah, that's true.
So if anybody experiences that, immediately go to some of the general hospitals. They have a rape centers where the hospital has the doctors, has everything there. And you go to the government hospitals. Only in the government hospitals, has to be a government hospital. Do not have a shower before that. Immediately take yourself to the hospital if you feel that it has been raped, and they will do the testing, and they will do it with doctors, with the police. Everything will come together.
Can I ask, why is it that she's feeling so suffocated? What is the reason?
Because she's blaming herself and not him. Yeah. Because people who have been abused like this tend to blame themselves, and now it's a matter of trust. Like, why did I trust this person? So a lot of the times we actually blame ourselves for trusting. We blame ourselves for believing in people. Stop doing that. Right. There's nothing wrong with trusting and believing. You were betrayed, not the other way around. You were the victim of their betrayal. Now you don't want to continue to be a victim, then make a stand.
Right. So there's another scenario. So it's from a friend. She says, I have two brothers. Both of them have abused me since I was 11 years old. Also, my mom and my first brother always argue to each other until to date. And at one point, I couldn't hold it anymore. I started harming myself since I was 16, practically. And no one knows about this. But when I entered college, I told my friends about what I was doing. So she said, my friend suggested that I go see a counselor, and I did. But just for a while, I felt like I was okay. But the counselor said it's better for me to tell my mom about me harming myself. Right. So January this year, I told her about me, my feeling, my pain, and showed her my wrist.
Okay.
But sadly, she didn't ask me whether I'm okay or not, till now. I mean, I need someone to just ask me if I'm okay or not. Even my boyfriend, was her ex. Even my ex didn't ask me that when I was in a relationship with him. Since then, I've always been crying, self-harming, and taking sleeping pills. Since I can't stop thinking about it, I've also considered suicide. And I've tried committing suicide once. And now I feel like I just want to end it even more.
Okay.
how can I escape from all of this and additional info? My father passed away when I was 5.
All right. And did this person give any kind of a way to call themselves?
Her name, like
just give me the alphabet. Like just
E.
give me a E.
All right.
Where's the camera? There. Okay. Dear E, number firstly, it's very difficult to be okay under a situation like this. I want to ask, are you okay? But I kind of know the answer. It's okay to be not okay. And it's also okay to be okay. It's okay to be okay sometimes, and you're managing, and then sometimes you feel that you need support, get the support. I am very sorry that your mom did not have the emotional strength and did not have the knowledge to be able to support you in the way you wanted to be supported. Please do get help. You deserve help. You deserve to be supported. And it is okay to be not okay. And it is okay to be okay. So I'm going to ask you, are you okay? Thank you.
Right. You want to ask the next one?
Which one?
14.
So, next question. Last week, I felt like I wanted to just end my life because I don't feel like I want to live anymore. There's a lot of reasons behind this. There's a lot of voices just driving me towards this, and I have been fighting that voice until today. At the moment, as I'm writing this to you, my heart is shattered. I couldn't sleep. I haven't been sleeping during nighttime for almost a month now, which makes my eye bag super bad right now.
Yeah. So I think he just wants your advice.
What is the question?
There's no question. He's just his scenario. He needs your advice.
He's just saying that he just voices are telling him that he wants to end his life.
Yeah.
His heart is shattered. We don't know why.
Okay, number one, if you got voices telling you, you may need to get, you need to find out where those voices are coming from. If they are just your thoughts, I don't know what you mean by voices. If it's like physical manifestation of voices.
He says that he feels like he doesn't want to live anymore. So
yeah, because those voices are driving him to it. So the question is, what voices? Whose voice? Where are those voices coming from? So I can't, that's... What did he say about the voices? There was a statement there that he made.
There's a lot of reasons behind this. There's a lot of voices just driving me towards this. And I have been fighting that voice until today.
Okay.
So it's a singular.
So the question of fighting that voice is what voice and whose voice? And what do you mean by fighting? Sometimes the voices need to be silenced, and in order to be silenced, the voices need to be heard. Not just by you, but they need to be expressed outside of you. So sometimes those voices are so loud inside you because you need to say it out. And you need to be able to communicate and be heard. You see, like the earlier E, unfortunately, she was not heard. She needs to be heard as well. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so strong. It's so hard when people listen but don't hear. They don't acknowledge the pain. So in this case, you need to actually get those voices outside you to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. Given the information, that's all I can share. This is coming like a bit like Dear Thelma kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, was that the idea? Yeah. Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, okay, so I think we'll just end it with one more voice.
Okay, last question.
Yep.
Okay, the shortness of breath is still there, and the headache is still there. But my parents always, and I try to tell my parents about this, but they always brush it off as I'm just being shy, I need to go out more, talk to people. But I don't know if it's shyness. I really don't know. I don't think it's shyness, in my opinion. Maybe one of my questions is, how can I tell my parents, or at least educate my parents, there is a difference between shyness and social anxiety. Or,
short of taking the textbook and giving them the definitions of
shyness
write a nice essay, put it nicely and say, Mom, this is shyness, this is social anxiety.
Every morning. Just give her the same essay.
These kind of symptoms that I have. And then my second question is, how can I cope with this? I mean, I am improving like 2% from like my high school and primary school, but how can I further not feel like all eyes are always looking at me and like I'm being judged, and you know, I have to be so careful with the way I act and behave.
In one sentence.
And even going to class in university is so difficult because
think a lot of
everyone will
people
just start
have
looking at me
Yeah,
and
they
get
are-
so upset,
this is
and I
not-
get so
This is not
much
this is
fear.
not something that I can
So
answer.
is there any way to at
What
least
general advice you can give?
cope with it a little bit of my social anxiety?
Okay.
So
Okay, so you're asking on coping, the question, for the last question, the person is asking about coping with social anxiety. How to explain social anxiety over shyness to your parents? Firstly, your parents have to come in for therapy, or you have to speak to your parents from a different plateau. So your parents must be able to see you in a different light. If you're using the same tone of voice that you've used like all these years to speak to your parents, and you're trying to explain to them something, so now you're trying to teach them something, it's not going to work. You need to use a more mature tone, you need to use a different feeling. So they need to feel that they're talking to a more mature version of yourself. So firstly, it's choice of words and how you go about it. So maybe it could be even to the point of getting the explanations of shyness versus social anxiety on iPads, sitting down with them and explaining it to them, talking to them as somebody who's studying psychology to understand the problem. But even if they understand the problem, your parents are going to ask you, so what are we supposed to do? Because the parents just care about how to make you better. So even if they understand that it's not shyness, it's social anxiety, they're still going to ask you, so what? How are we supposed to help you? How are we supposed to help you is like this. Any kind of anxiety has a slow build. You know, when you're doing something, you start, I think I can do this, I feel okay. Then the anxiety starts to build. So have rituals, tiny rituals that will help you, will help distract you, will help take you out of that situation mentally. I think I mentioned it earlier, like if you need to leave or you need to do some breathing, some people cope with, I need to like play with my ring. Like you sit down and you see these people, they actually like, you know, I turn my ring around or I say a prayer.
Bite their nails.
Yeah, they bite their nails. You know, it's all these but this is quite childish, so people try to avoid that.
Right.
So they do things like this, they do other things to just try to manage the anxiety. Sometimes they count out or they tap. Tapping is quite good as well. So they're sitting down there, they just tap on their own selves, or you know, do this. You know, you take your finger and press.
Oh,
here.
I do that.
Yeah, it helps. It helps actually
I do that.
reduce anxiety. So you can actually do certain rituals to help you slowly start to manage anxiety that is not so obvious, especially when you're stuck in I can't move, like I can't get up and walk out for a while. I know somebody who pretends to smoke. Doesn't smoke, not a smoker, but actually will pretend to be a smoker in order to leave the room for 5 minutes and come back. Okay, I need a short break. No, just gonna, because you can't say I need a short break and you go toilet every few minutes. It's very embarrassing. But you know, so I have a friend who actually he doesn't smoke, but he'll just go out, sit down there. Then he comes and tells me, I can't tell people I'm taking a breathing break, right? So I have to tell him I take a smoke break because that's socially acceptable.
Yeah, strange.
So yeah, so we have to think of ways to manage. Like one of the weird things I do is I do this, or I play with my hair, and I'll play with my hair, and I'll be doing all weird kind of things with my hair, and that helps me, you know, when I'm anxious as well.
Right.
So social anxiety does occur with everybody, and bullying unfortunately does create social anxiety. For those who've been bullied, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry you went through what you did. Bullying is bad, and bullying has long-term repercussions for sure. So, but if we want to take control of it, it is doing small things to make life little bit better until it actually gets better. But here, you fight the battle here. You fight the battle here in deciding that, you know what, I can't control my emotions. My emotions are out of control, but I can control my thinking, or I can control my behavior. If I cannot control my thinking, I can at least control what I do with my hands, my body. I can move, and sometimes I have to force myself to move because I don't feel like it, and I think that it's a waste of time. But I know other voices. The people who are helping me have said I must do this, so I'm going to listen to the other voices, the good voices, not and I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You have to find control in your life.
Yeah, it's decide that it's about you, it's your life, and you are going to live your life, not because of the world, but in spite of the world. sometimes, like especially with toxic family members, like I don't do stuff because of them. I do stuff in spite of them. Because sometimes one of the best things to do is be more successful and make them come to you when they want you to apologize for something and you refuse to apologize. But then you're so successful, or you're doing so well, at the end of the day, they come and be nice to you back, and I'm like, I won. I don't need to physically win. Okay?
Yeah.
Alright, I think we're done.
Yeah.
I've got something to do right now.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
So
Sure
thank you all
thing.
for having me again.
Thank you for
Alright.
joining us today.
You're
So guys,
welcome.
Dr. Anasu
Alright,
signing
thank
out.
you. Bye bye.
Take care.
Alright.
Bye bye.